Maybe that's, I spoke too soon. Lelouch is ready to go with the Mavis rotation.
He's so close, but a good move over from Whitemon. Might be enough. Natsumi showing up. Cancels that teleport, but Carl able to dodge it. I
think he had to.
They just lose one. The Clockwork dies behind the tower.
Yeah. Pugna just walks in and finishes him off. Yeah, unfortunately, Natsumi, like, he kind of got juked. Like, you know, Carl just turns around. He sees the TP, so he's like, I'm not going to walk into this TP. But it is a little hard to kind of connect on those early teleports if you don't have a stun setup. And that was the thing. You see Clockwork's weakness there. He doesn't have boots, no wind lace. Like, this hero is, you know, not bad base move speed, but they're going in on Carl again? No. Okay, maybe it's thought about it, but not looking to dive move. Instead, it's top.
Whew. They take down
Gabby.
Gabby. That's a big kill. That's a really nice one. And again, seeing why, you know, Force loves to get on this Mars when he gets an opportunity to. Yeah, I think that oftentimes, like, these like mid matchup things, it can come down to one or two decisions, and you see players learn throughout the course of a series how to play the matchup better. And it feels like Carl's definitely been responding really well after that solo kill in last game.
Yeah, it's always nice. You know, it can feel like a little bit of a warm-up game in ways. Vortex made Carl get slow. He's level 6. He just used that to deny a range creep. So just some cheeky little plays before he heads back to base to heal up. He knows he can't really stick around.
And look at this at Xavius, the Shadow Demon over in the jungle. After building up the stacks, is just going to take it all himself.
He looked around and he's like, oh, I don't have a Medusa on my team. This is mine.
I did this. Yeah. I get to take it.
Fast level 6, I guess, and, you know, maybe some fast early game items too.
Huh. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm just going to pop the salve and then another round of the clarity. But, I mean, he's almost got more last hits than the lifesteal, obviously, a lot of this jungle. But nonetheless, if this, you know, Shadow Demon gets off to a good start, this is one of those heroes that, like you said, can be such a huge impact. Just down bottom, a haste rune bottled up by Carl. He got it.
Yep. Nice little play, zipping over him and using the Vortex to keep it out of Lelouch's hands. And yeah, it does open up that possibility to rotate to a side lane. He doesn't have a TP scroll since he walked back to base and TP'd in, so I think that gank threat is a little bit lower unless he brings one on Courier, which he's not. TPs are expensive, and, you know, he's a greedy mid, so he's like, I'm not buying no TP scroll.
Absolutely. Who needs it? And you can see that across all the lanes, it's looking pretty good for Polaris.
It is. Yeah, they can kill this Pugna. That'd be nice down bottom. This is, I mean, theoretically, Clockwork, you know, should be the answer to Pugna. Great hero to jump on top. Battery Assault stops Pugna casting any spells, but, you know, it's always in theory because there's a reason not many teams are picking Clockwork. But so far, the Clock pickers looked all right.
Oh, and a good dodge. Natsumi drops down a Sprout, doesn't really stop the aggro, and it looks like with Cuckoo there, they will be able to play cleanup. So a nice rotation from Carl secures the kill, and Lelouch, with that rotation, wasn't able to get anything in return.
And the Pugna TP's in to refill his bottle, so Carl going to be a very happy camper with that rotation. Just and that all goes back to, like, you know, a very tiny little play where he zips and uses the Vortex to secure the haste rune, leads to a kill on the enemy carry, and just, you know, puts T1 in a nice little spot here in the early game, slowing down some of that Nature's Prophet snowball. But Natsumi just bounces right back, and he's mid. He's TPing in, looking to take this tier 1.
Right back at it. They already have the ward down. Zephyr, only 1 point in it at this early going. But with Natsumi summoning trees, they've still got some pretty good pressure onto here. Even the Storm Spirit illusions tanking through some of this. They're going to get this tower, at least get it very low. No more glyph available. Whitemon going for the deny. Doesn't happen.
Close. Good job by Xavius to secure it. And this has given Gabby some space to kind of get some good farm back in the top lane, but yeah, Forces just had a complete free farm lane, it feels like. So this Mars is really set up to have a big impact on this game, whereas Gabby in the lifesteal is going to be playing a lot of catch-up.
Yeah, always frustrating. And particularly if, like, they start rotating and shutting down the places where he can actually farm and force the lifestealer out of here. They have level 7 on Mars, 4 points up in that spear. And Natsumi is still sitting mid, but with teleport available, might make that rotation up top pretty soon here.
Yep. So Carl comes back. TP's to the mid lane, so it doesn't look like they're too invested in trying to fight this. They know they scan this.
They baited it out, so Rage already there, and they'll find the kill. Grimstroke goes down. a nice catch. And Gabby's still sticking around this area. 10 more seconds left as Mavis dies over in the river.
Yeah, I think he was trying to connect with the team up top, but got caught out in the river. So another place he should really be there, but I think Polaris, they took the mid-tier one before taking this. This top tower has not even been touched yet, so would imagine... It's always this trade-off. You don't want to like 5-man too much with the Nature's Prophet. You want to make sure Natsumi also prioritizes his item progression if he's coming to every single early game push. You know, you're going to just not get quite the same farm. So I like that we see Natsumi not just going all in on this early push, early towers. Wants to get a good timing on his Orchid.
And then make those plays a little bit later on, because Storm going for, what, 3 Null Talisman now into Treads afterwards. I mean, we don't see Storms go like, you know, Yules or anything else like that. This Orchid is going to destroy him if Carl gets caught.
Yep. Making sure they have the answers here. Probably force Carl into a pretty early BKB pickup. May even just go for its first item. I wouldn't be too surprised to see that.
Lelouch. Found. Oh, that silence. It's so annoying. And Whitebond, gonna give him a second there to think about it.
You reckon it's lag?
I don't know. I'm not so sure. Full packet loss. Yeah.
Whitebond's a good boy. Yeah. That's very accurate to be, you know, you 47, you know. He's making it clear, you know. I think he realized the timing of that pause. He's like, I gotta say something because this looks bad.
Yeah, right, exactly. He's like, please believe me.
He's like, I'm gonna click DC just to make it look legit too. This, no, I feel like definitely a legit pause, but obviously timing a bit unfortunate. Lelouch, he's dead to this overload hit. It looks like. Does it 21? Is that gonna save him? If he gets it off, the stun looks too long.
I think he's dead. I mean, there's a chance, I guess, obviously. Right. You know, I feel like this 47% packet loss is going to become a new meme in the C servers, you know? you get somebody down, you kill them, you pause, and 47%. That's enough said.
If you're Polaris, that's what you do. Next time you go for a kill, you pause and say 47%. Get some revenge.
There's a slight chance. I'll admit. There's a slight
Cuckoo,
chance.
letting us know with the new voice lines. I have not played the Persona Dragon Knight enough to know all of them, but the voice super annoying. Sorry if that's offensive to people, but I can't handle it.
Yeah. Okay, won't even get a chance to get the wand off. I think even if he popped the wand, he dies to the ball lightning chase. So,
right.
Nice little kill there. That's one they're not going to be too happy about.
Absolutely, and you see again some contestant in the area. They know that there's these stacks going on, and Force is going to come back to try and take them out as quickly as possible, it looks like. So another round of farming up and trying to get into that quick blink dagger, which we kind of talked about was one of the big problems in the last game, not being able to get that online quickly enough.
Yeah. Force is going to get to play to his preferred style, and I think he definitely didn't look too comfortable on the Viper last game, so happy to see him on the Mars. You're in a, deciding game. Like, they have to, this is it. To get to the major, they have to win 2 games in a row. T1 just needs the 1 game, so everything at stake here in game number 2 for both teams, particularly Polaris, who it's do or die.
Pop in dragon form. Lelouch finds Whitemon again, and Mavis there as well. This should give Clockwork 6 if they can get this kill. On the other side, they bring in Force. Cuckoo, he's caught. He's dead. So a couple quick kills give the supports level 6 before they even happen. And, I mean, this is great for Polaris right now.
Yep. We're feeling Force have his impact. No, even without the blink dagger. Like, you think of Mars, like, mobility comes with the blink, but he just knows when and how to TP, make sure he can kind of connect on these plays, and they're in the perfect spot. You've got a Nature's Prophet, you win a fight, you take tower right afterwards. This is so far been a pretty good start for Polaris. They're even-ish on gold, but it does feel like they're going to hit these item timings and have, be able to put T1 on the back foot. Like, Orchid Nature's Prophet and Mars's Blink are going to pretty much sync up this game, it feels like, and that's where T1 are going to have to resort to really playing it safe.
Right. Well, and of course there are like a lot of other dangerous spikes that come around, past that point for T1. Particularly again thinking about these infest bombs in the late game, and that it kind of feels like it's the place that T1 feels comfortable playing in, right? Where they maybe lose the lanes a little bit, but then after some time, they come back through those mid-game team fights and just solid play together. We'll see if they can do it again in this game number 2 here. And again, one win away from making it through and being a part of this major that's coming up.
Yep. We'll see if they feel the pressure. I think for a team like T1, the veterans there, you know, these guys have played at TI. I don't think they're necessarily going to be feeling the pressure just because they're one game away. And I think, if anything, it's a team like Polaris who, you know, they played at a major in the past under the Adroit name, but you know, it's more, you know, the pressure's on them to prove that they can compete with the likes of T1 as well as the other top teams in SEA. So it's and also just draft-wise, the pressure's on them. They're the ones who've got to make these plays. They've got this very early mid-game draft with the Nature's Prophet carry. They're hitting their item timings. They can't just sit back. They have to learn their lesson from the last game where they really need to seize control of this game.
Natsumi, he TPs to the top tier 1 tower and then is going to TP behind it as well. And it looks like T1 are just going to give this one up, at least for now. Maybe they find a pick-off along the way.
Are we setting up bottom for a kill here? Xavier's TPs. Nature's Prophet is 20 seconds. No teleportations from MP, but maybe someone else can sit up here. They're TPing to the outpost too. It looks like they want to defend down here. Does seem like T1, they become wary of it though.
Yeah, T1 are like so on top of the ball right now. They know exactly what's going on, it feels like.
This is their play style. Like, this is how they're so on point with their movement around the map that they don't seem to get picked off much. Like, they'll go for a kill here or there, but very few.
Ooh, good jump in there onto Mavis. They were hoping to find a kill onto Ember, but they'll take the clockwork there. Lelouch bottling the illusion.
Good call from Lelouch to just get in and instantly get out. That Ink Swell was coming in with Cuckoo and with the Dragon Tail, so if he got caught there, he was dead.
So 5-5 again, and Xavius hoping to set up down bottom. Dreams already of the Aghanim Scepter. Xavius knows what he's trying to get to, which again, you know, could be really strong.
I think he's getting a ton of farm priority. He's very likely going to be getting there, and that's going to make this Lifestealers game really difficult. Not to mention someone like a DK in the front lines. Usually you would just never Demonic Purge a DK, but you get the Aghanim Scepter up and get the multi-charges, you can bet that Cuckoo's getting gone on Zephyr bottom. Well, that's a free kill. Or is it? It should be a free kill. There you go.
Yeah, they got him. Nicely played. So yeah, they take down the other 4 position and catching up again and trying to get into it. I mean, the other thing is even
Storm.
Got him. He's in trouble. Carl dead. And that wasn't even needed with the Orchid. So a huge window here for Polaris is they take a couple of kills on very valuable heroes. But again, where do they go now at this point? Like, they don't have that like Wraith King Deso to go for Roche.
I think it's kind of like you want to just get that, like, unlike last game, like they were making these kills happen and not out farming the enemy. This time around, like, partly because of T1's, like, Lifesteal is not a TA. It farms at a very different speed, but also I think they are just doing a better job of pressuring the map. Like, you've got this Ember Illusion just scouting stuff out. They're sending Treants out from time to time. They've got good vision up, so they're making it harder for T1 to farm safely. Plus, they have heroes that are just better at hunting. So, the big thing is, I think, for players, it's less about like getting some big objective and more about just out farming your opponents.
Vision there forces back T1 again, but it's just forced back to get into position for a smoke. Blink Dagger, DK, who do they find right at the start? Zephyr, smoke breaks. They know that Force is over here. Doesn't have Arena for 24, actually. And the jump in, they find him. Disruption immediately afterwards with the stun. Cuckoo now into trouble. Caught, gonna get healed back up, but they immediately break it. Cuckoo now being forced away. Natsumi trying to go for punch to punch, but off to the side, they do manage to find the Grim. It comes at a cost, though, and now Gabby moving in as well. They got to get out of here. A good cogs, but in the end, not enough follow-up damage.
I think just a tricky one for Nature's Prophet to TP into without until you get BKB. Like, you don't want to force that fight. Pugna happy to keep Cuckoo alive there with the life drain, and just not quite enough damage on the Polaris side. If they had the Arena, I think that fight could go a little bit differently. Unfortunately for the supports, they just had to kind of commit their lives to save, like, particularly Forces Mars there. Like, you know, you don't want this guy going down there. But a good group up from T1. Like, they made sure they brought numbers. They're fighting next to their tower. They can't just keep, you know, giving up ground to Polaris. And that's something I think T1 are really good about when they play these slower paced farming drafts is they know how to pick and choose their fights and when, like, enough is enough and that they have to, like, you know, defend their towers or defend their triangle.
All right. Yeah, again, making sure that like, and you know, you can see Carl making these moves around the map. It feels like those sort of things go hand in hand with how much space he can get to farm in maybe more dangerous areas. They got to hold their ground in other spots, and this might be another one here. Cuckoo, Dragon Form running down to about a quarter left with Force in the area. They could think about going here with an Infest play, and the jump forward, don't even need to. Xavius again there for the save. Blink out in a moment, but didn't have it in time, and Force gonna get caught, gonna get killed. T1 again making things happen, but down
trade.
bottom. They get him.
Yeah. The setup, the Clockwork sets up, the Nature's Prophet follows up. So it is a decent trade. That's a mid for the offlaner, and the Storm Kill is really the bigger one. But they may be giving up a bit more here. Shadow Demon in no man's land. Trying to play around a ward, but little did he know that Zephyr had set up a ward of his own there. So T1, so much of this game has come down to the vision. Like T1 trying to do everything to protect themselves with wards placed very defensively in their jungle, and Polaris trying to get this aggressive vision to keep making these, you know, pickoff plays.
Right. It's you know, the moves that you need to make to sort of counter out those vision, and that is something that hopefully for Polaris, Clockwork will be able to, you know, help solve later on too. The Flare always so good at it, and who knows, maybe we might see that broken creep later too if somebody builds a Helm of the Dominator. Can dare to dream.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, if you're a support, it's always hard because honestly, it's broken out of the wazoo, but it's like, you have to have a hero that wants to buy Helm, or at least can buy Helm. Like, Shadow Demon doesn't want this Ags. Yeah, maybe Mars after a BKB, like, but yeah. We'll see where we go from here. Nice Roche secure. I mean, this is very similar story to last game. The main difference is the farm is even between the teams. So this game feeling good, like it's going to be a bit more competitive than last.
Yeah, and you know, for now at least, we still haven't, I feel like, seen the full strength of T1. You know, the big initiation on the DK into all of them, but they're kind of giving up ground where they can. And for now, Polaris, they get themselves the first Aegis, and we'll see with that if they try and, you know, further shut down the map a little bit against T1.
Yeah. Just feels like so many of their players are set up to have a much better mid to late game. Like last game, Lelouch's Ember played amazingly well, but he couldn't, you know, he couldn't play Ember to its full potential because he was playing into a Doom. This time, yeah, there's stuns and stuff, but there's nothing like to maybe stop him just playing high. Like with his BKB, there's nothing he's afraid of. So he can do like all of his spells, dish out all the damage he wants. You know, the carries, like lifesteals can get kited. So I just feel like, you know, they're set up to have a much stronger mid to late game.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, for T1 now, the question is, when do you decide to actually go? Because, I mean, again, you can feel pretty comfy farming around the map, you know, laying down these fireballs from Cuckoo, maybe getting a pick off here and there. But if the map does start to get a little bit more compressed with these tier 2s going down, that's where things get a little bit more dicey. And you can see Polaris kind of stalking around and wanting to play around this ward, but Zephyr, it looks like he's going to be the one. Yeah.
They were just waiting for someone to come de-ward.
You think they got him?
I don't know. Maybe we need to replay it.
Yeah.
I think they got
Double ultis dropped for the Poral Pugna.
Yeah, a little, you know, slight overcommit maybe, but they're pretty short cooldowns. Like hookshot, 60 seconds. Arena, a bit longer, but I think recognizing that, just having the Pugna out of the picture, they can still fight without these ultimates because they've got this BKB Aegis Ember who can just basically take any fight at this point.
Yeah. And again, we also had the timing now of Shadow Demon finishing off the Aghanim Shard. So he does have the Demonic Cleanse as well. So answers about, thank you very much. Oh, the replay, much needed. That's what we like to see.
Clockwork and Ember, like they've got really, and the Mars, but like the Nature's Prophet is always going to be the last one to enter these fights. But I think the key thing is like hiding this lifesteal. For T1, I think they're going to have to lean a lot on these kind of Infest combos, like Infest, lifesteal, and the Storm. Without the Infest, I think this lifesteal is going to struggle to get on top of heroes and dish out damage.
Right, and finding the right target to go on at the start. There's been a couple of times now where it feels like Shadow Demon's been able to get off either those saves for a turnaround, and eventually when those BKBs come online for the Mars, if he's able to get saved, and pop the BKB afterwards, it's going to turn very quickly into the favor of Polaris. But it's interesting though, right? Because I feel like we haven't even seen T1 attempt that yet, right? It's like we haven't even really seen their draft work at all because they're just kind of chilling and waiting for their items. So maybe eventually when these BKBs come out for them, the sort of we'll see the potential for their draft a bit more.
Absolutely. I think it's, for them, like we saw last game, they're happy to chill, farm up their items. I think unlike last game, like their items, it's not like, okay, they got their items, like game's just over now. This time around, there's counterplays that can be made. There's this insta, hook shot in onto these BKB heroes, into a cogs pushback, into a spear. These heroes can die. There's not any easy save on the T1. They don't have a save, basically. There's a decrep, maybe a defensive infest. So, there's no guarantees that somebody gets initiated on is going to die.
No, definitely. There's a little bit of all check going on right there. Gabby saying, thank you for waiting, not like Armel. Love to see that. But no, so the thing that I was thinking that's just like kind of interesting about it is that when I'm watching these T1 games, it's almost like a no rush 20 minutes thing from like old StarCraft or something, right? Like they're just like, we're just going to hang out here. We're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
You get your items, we'll get ours, and then we'll see what happens afterwards. But it does feel like in that last game, at the very least, they did a really good job of outplaying in those mid games, and I want to see if they can replicate that again.
Yep. And the funny thing is, I feel like at the start of this patch and this tour, every team we talk in interviews is like, yeah, new patch, we're going to play aggressive, we can't just pick greedy. Yeah. And here we are on week 6, Medusa every other game. Medusa's being banned in this series, and slow play Dota's back. So people who love a good little farm battle, a bit of a chess match like that, that's what we've had here. Specifically, I think around like T1, like that's really been their play style. It's not every team's. It like you watch Boom, you watch SMG, it's more aggressive, but these teams, they love a good farm battle.
Well, a farm battle we will have, and hopefully before too long, once either the major's over, maybe if there's a mini patch, we'll also be able to get rid of these freaking null talismans. They make my blood boil a little bit, not gonna lie. Yeah. But Polaris, move on up, gonna take this tier 2 tower top, and mid still standing for them as they use the glyph on glyph action, and back at it again.
Yeah, this time around, T1 just don't have the heroes that defend towers as easily. Like, Storm can maybe clear a creep wave, but he's not defending a tower the same way the Coddle was from last game. So, and also, it's scary. You defend your towers, Clockwork. But against T1's gameplay, as far as fitting into Polaris' draft, this hero is pretty bad, but this game, it has looked amazing. Like, just the pressure it can apply.
From the depths of the mines of Moria, he's risen. Good old Clockwork. All right, can he get in there and make some more stuff happen, though? They have Gabby over behind some Ancients. Do they find the right angle? Jump in, spear immediately, and they've got everything to drop down on top of him. Pushes him outside of the arena, but it's not going to matter. Still goes down. Now Whitemon also in some trouble. Suddenly, everything has fallen apart for T1. They lose the tier 2, and now Carl goes in. BKB tries to find the kill. The cleanse that keeps him alive. Oh, jeez. And now Carl, he's in trouble. They miss completely on the spear, but it's not going to matter. Carl is dead too. And oh no, not Cuckoo. Not Cuckoo too.
And he's done. And he's barely. So close. He even went for the cogs. He's like, my battery assault's not getting close enough. Oh my god, what a huge fight for Polaris. Catching him, like, you can see T1 kind of expected it. Lifestealer is farming like the right side of those Ancients, knowing that they may smoke in. I'm going to position, extra safe. Pugna's behind me for the life drain, for the heals to make sure I get off rage, but they just have too much chain stun. And life drain is not a save the same way, like, it's not a combo breaker. Like, you just can keep using all your spells. Disruption, that'll save you. Although, maybe not when you're the one getting stunned up. Cuckoo, he goes down. Does have the BKB, though.
And, I mean, he doesn't have a TP.
Yeah.
Natsumi. Oh, Mavis comes on in and finds him again from downtown. A couple more punches. Clock. You can take my Shadow Demons, but Clockwork will end you. Wait, what's Carl doing? Carl.
He's getting question mark. That's what he's doing.
Carl,
BKB in a second.
Man? Oh, no. Not like this.
Where's the pause? 47% packet loss.
Yeah, we need to see it. And they also get level 20 now for Nature's Prophet. Oh, Gabby's gonna get it broken. Sprout, leash, no TP for you. Oh, it's too strong. It's too strong.
So sick. You love to see it. Storm and Lifestealer pickers getting beat down by a Nature's Prophet. And Polaris, they just showed up. Natsumi's Nature's Prophet is having a hell of a game. The entire Polaris team, you know, they get the Aegis and they just go, go, go. It's about to expire, but last game they got an Aegis and they went from a 4K deficit to an 8. They were losing with Aegis. This game, they're making the moves happen and they're finding kills wherever they go.
Yeah, and you know, there were so many little things that, like, okay, they just need a little bit more here, a little bit more there, some more control last game. They have more control, they have more damage. It feels like they really have solved a lot of the problems in the draft. The other problem is, you know, they banned Death Prophet, which is a good thing to do. So, you know, that
Second
also
phase,
happened.
though. It still could have been picked in the first phase. It's crazy that hero just became lower priority all of a sudden, but
that's how it goes.
It's,
but
you know, you have so much like info on the opposing team, you know what they want to play, so sometimes some of these wonky things can happen.
Well, I won't lie to you. Gabby, his impact in this game has felt very, very low. It's just like, I guess again because they were hoping that, you know, this might be the time around the Aegis expiring when they would go for fights, and they just got punched in the face really hard.
Yeah. It's a tough carry to play, I think, into a lot of heroes. Like, yeah, on paper it sounds like it good against Clock, decent against Mars and Lane in the game, but just is a hero that takes a while to come online and deal out damage. And Polaris, I mean, they had the Shadow Demon, Demonic Purge. I'm just starting to question whether this was the pick for this game, because I think very low is, you know, being a bit overly kind to him. He's basically had no impact. I mean, he's the carry. You're not expecting early to mid-game impact, but it's more a question of now that he's getting his items up, will he be able to do anything? And at least right now, it's feeling like the answer is going to be no. Playing against this Sprout Leash, there's, you know, hook shot to pierce through BKB as well. If he gets stunned up, there's nothing to save him when he gets stunned this game. He's just got that status resistance from the Sanj. It's a tough game for him.
And about to have Shadow Demon Aghanims also completed. Xavius is, what, 900 gold away from completing it now. They will head on out on T1 underneath a ward of their own. They're hoping that Lelouch just steps over here, but over to the side, Xavius is there as well for a save if they do step too far forward. Mavis. Oh, Jetpack just jumps away from him. No problem. Yeah, they got the flare out. They saw him.
I think it's so tricky because it's almost like they have to go on this Shadow Demon because of that Demonic Cleanse being such a high value save spell as well as a disruption, of course. You could just disrupt someone who gets gone on. So they're not done this time. Oh, there's the Shadow Demon.
Yep, and that's just maybe going to be a slightly better fight here for Polaris. Immediately TP's out with everybody else. Yeah, so yeah, heads up play.
I don't think they expected them to like smoke back in. Like they just were like, okay, first attempt to initiate failed. Let's go back in. They have such good dire vision around that area. Unfortunately, the end result is you kill one support and just like spent the entire last like 90 seconds like really trying to force a fight. So I think Polaris farming Ultra on the map are going to feel like, you know, they did a good job cutting their losses, and not just cutting their losses, but Lelouch is finding some sneaky little pickoffs here to kind of even the scores.
Yeah, that sentry just out of range, and now they find him again, and in trouble. Carl gonna be caught, gonna be leashed, but the turnaround. Cuckoo there. BKB was not popped. Do they have anything else left in the tank? Cuckoo still trying to run down Natsumi. He's gonna TP away himself. And do they have enough damage? They do. So take down the Nature's Prophet, a much needed kill. It's so much gold for Gabby.
Yeah, huge one. Just a bit of a overzealous Nature's Prophet. They had the BKB, but doesn't pop it. So by the time he pops it after the stuns were off, it's you know, it's a little bit too late to save his own life there. Really well done by T1 to turn that one around and get a key kill. It feels like the first like big kill to get them back in this game. They're still playing from behind. I think Polaris, you know, they're going to be thinking, okay, we need to play around this next Roshan maybe. It is respawning here, and no Nature's Prophet for a little bit, but not the easiest thing for T1 to go for.
Yeah, definitely need to take this tier 1 tower mid first, so that way the easy reinforcements can't come in. But even if they do, like the outpost is there, T1 just kind of need to reset a little bit, it feels like here. But Gabby getting closer to that Basher too, which could make a pretty big difference. And
Yes.
where will they go?
Yeah, they will. As good as this level 20 talent is on Nature's Prophet, this game does get harder for the Nature's Prophet the longer this game goes. Like, you know, you're going to have this Basher life stealer. You're against Storm. There's just a lot of heroes that can kind of get on top of you and make life hard. And then, you know, it's like, who are you actually killing? Like, DK in the front line is very tanky. Storm is just, you know, going to feel very hard to deal with as well if you're not locking him down. So we'll see how Polaris continue to make, if they can continue to make plays. This next Roshan, if they can secure it, is going to put them in a really nice spot, though.
And finally, the Ags coming out now for the SD. Has it done at the same time as the Basher for the Lifestealer. But again, if they can find this hero at the start of the fights for T1, everything could go very well for them here.
Yeah, the vision is key, and I think, yeah, Polaris know where they are. They scan them. They know there's a ward on this cliff, most likely. That's why they don't want to just walk up and, like, face rush it. They want to come in from behind, but they're going to be revealed soon.
Mavis down, takes away their vision afterwards. Who do they jump on? Immediately, Shadow Demon ulti out, and they're just going to be able to walk away. No, in some trouble now. They take down Xavius. He has to back out. So both supports dead, and there was no follow-up. Oh, man, yeah. T1, they're getting some lifeblood in them right now. And like, into the pit they go.
You just can't afford to have this Shadow Demon getting caught, which is almost impossible to do because you're playing into Storm. This Storm's #1 priority is always going to be Shadow Demon. If he gets off multiple demonic purges, gets off saves with disruption, with the cleanse as well, like, you know, triple cleanse, triple demonic purge is a lot of impact on a fight.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And he's also actually almost at level 15 for that extra damage that it deals as well. Going for an Aeon Disc afterwards. It's funny the way that, like, you know, the vision game impacts this so much, and particularly, like, being able to find that super high impact hero in the Shadow Demon.
Yeah. That's the thing. Go back to what we said at the start of the game. Like, so much of how this mid to late game plays out is these spirit heroes are going to be hunting supports. Like, Ember did the same thing that the Storm and the rest of T1 did. He just jumped the backlines. He pops BKB. He goes on supports like Grimstroke, as well as Pugna. He kills the Grim, and, you know, there's not anything Grim can do. Whitemon has brown boots, fluffy hat. He is hella poor on this Grimstroke. So, you know, life's tough for a support, and that's something, you know, you want to keep punishing for both sides.
Gabby trying to beat that face right in front of him. Remnant's in immediately. Whitemon knows it's coming. Can't do a thing about it, though, but the bash. That was pretty good, but afterwards, the break onto both. They do find him, though. Carl actually going on the Nature's Prophet, and now another demonic purge, so no overload charges for him. Force gets saved. Oh, my God. They're ripping him to pieces there. Now stunned, now controlled. Force still living through it. Do they have enough left in the tank, though? Natsumi turning, wanting to fight. The Scotty doing a decent amount, but it's not enough. And actually, Natsumi's going to go down, too. They outlasted him there with the buyback from Cuckoo, and now T1 are going to run it down.
Oh, boy, that's huge. That's Roshan. That's maybe even more. Just, we're getting to this point. I mean, we kind of mentioned it. We hadn't felt Gabby's impact on the game, and, well, this is him saying, I just need to finish my items. That Basher makes life hard for the Ember at the start. And I think, you know, that fight, a lot of it just comes down to the way Ember plays. Like, he knows his job is to kill the supports. He kills Grimstroke instantly, but then he tries to chase this Pugna. That's where the fight goes really wrong for Polaris. He committed like a triple Remnant onto the Pugna, doesn't kill Pugna, then Pugna turns, is just life draining him, and he's out of mana. So Lelouch effectively, his only contribution to that fight was to BKB kill a Grimstroke, and then he had to kind of disengage. Meanwhile, his team is fighting the rest of T1 basically without the Ember, and, you know, they can't really deal with this Lifestealer who's just gotten too tanky and can basically, the thing is, these fights are long and drawn out. Like, you can't burst heroes like Lifestealer anymore because of how tanky they are. Even Storm, 2.5k health plus the evasion from Elven Tunic, and long drawn out fights is where Lifestealer can really shine.
Well, and again, it feels like this sort of decision to not have like a full inventory also for the NP had queued up the AC, instead is now going back for the Mjolnir. You know, it's a lot of net worth that's just not expended, and they ran out of damage, like you said. Combination of, you know, the Ember Spirit going in for other kills, and not having that other like big bulky carry that can just, you know, soak up the damage and then run at them. Open wounds now there for Gabby as he takes the shard. So even more tools in their arsenal to try and keep heroes under control and sort of outlast in these fights.
That's going to be, I think, a nice one just to, like you say, help out his teammates a bit. And for T1, they don't have to make any aggressive moves here. They're probably feeling like, you know, their draft is going to start really scaling into the late game. We saw what Carl can do on Storm last game. He's not had quite the same free, easy game, but he's had plenty of help here in the late game from his other cores, as well as, you know, I think we're really seeing what Pugna can do this game. Just, you know, it's so easy to say every time you see Pugna, oh, okay, they need to pick a hero with jump and get on top of this Pugna. But once you get an item or two, these glimmers and forces, and if you use your stuns and Pugna just turns left into you, it's, you know, it's easier said than done just killing a Pugna at the start of a fight.
Yeah. Very annoying hero to deal with. And, you know, you're reducing the damage that's coming in too. It's mostly magical at this point. They find the Ember again. Lelouch pops the BKB. Cuckoo able to sneak away that DD.
Yeah.
So another little opening here as T1, after things were looking a little bit tough, have really turned this back around. And if they win this game, that's it for Polaris. We'll see if T1 can close this one out here as they've started to make the comeback happen.
And this is where this game is going to start feeling awfully similar to game one if you're Polaris. Like, even though, you know, they're not being outgreeded as much and they are ahead on gold, these are numbers that we see that Polaris don't. What Polaris feel right now is like we were in control and we're starting to lose fights. The game's starting to slip away. They've got another Storm that we just don't have good answers to. This lifesteal is starting to feel unkillable. So, you know, in terms of the mental game, this is where you're going to feel like your back is really up against the wall and you've got to come up with some kind of nice, flashy move to kind of win you this game.
And some of that is going to be obviously down to initiation too, but like these items that T1 are getting, it makes it very difficult for Natsumi to really do the damage that he needs to in these fights. Double halberd, both on the DK and on that lifestealer. And only the 6 seconds, or I guess 7 seconds of BKB that he's got available to him. Also, Ned P, not really that, like, you know, BKB refresher type of hero that we've been seeing. You know, it feels like it doesn't fit the mold for him as much.
Yeah, it's just the double BKB is there, but getting double of anything else, like double Sprout's not great, double Wrath of Nature. Like, Wrath of Nature's obviously nice, but you don't really feel like you're getting a ton of value out of that. So has a MKB queued up. Looks, yeah, he's just going to buy out. I mean, he's seeing all these halberds and, like, the Storm with an Elven Tunic.
They find him. Mavis, right at the start, in trouble on the clockwork and going to drop. So a smoke into a kill.
Well, maybe the kills they were hoping for, but it's a kill nonetheless, and T1 just continue to control the map. As, yeah, I think we're going to start seeing the Polaris draft. Their biggest issue as this game drags is going to be just having the damage to get kills. That's why Natsumi goes this MKB, but you know, you got to look around for some of these other heroes like Ember to also help out in that damage output front. So he's got Refresher queued up. I think at some point his job can't just be, you know, killing these supports. Particularly the Grimstroke, it's like, killing the Pugna I think has a lot of merit, but his damage output is going to be needed to deal with, like, these tanky DKs and lifestealers who are both approaching that, like, 4,000 health mark with all the evasion, status resistance, lifesteal that makes them even tankier than they look.
Parker, I just got to say, I'm looking at an abomination up top. Carl, 5 null talismans. Zephyr is just, like, life draining him after he jumps from Fountain. He's eating an Ags with the BKB. What does Dota become? This is some dumb stuff. I don't like it.
Yeah. You know, eating an Ags, cool concept. You got to spend some money to open up an item slot, which is great for late game Dota when you're getting 6 slotted. This is not late game Dota. This Storm is not 6 slotted. A null talisman is not an item. What?
We need to take away the doubling. The doubling, it's too much. It's far too much. I don't know.
I don't mind it. It's only on Storm where it's too much. Every other hero it's not a problem on. But Storm.
Storm. It's so ridiculous. Because it really does just turn him into, like, this unkillable thing. Because, like, how are you going to sprout this guy if he's just zipping everywhere? You going to precast sprout? You going to precast hook shot? Like, he's only in there for a second and he zips around again.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I just had to, like, have a little bit of a breakdown there for a second.
No,
I'm glad you indulged me.
I'm with you. I'm happy to join you. There's a few things I think everyone knows are not going to survive the upcoming patch, whether it's maybe it's a small balance patch before the major, but I think Storm Null Talismans is one of them. I think the Harpy is on the hit list as well.
Yeah.
But there are some things
There.
which, you know. Dota, amazing game, amazing balance. The fact that we see so many heroes, like 80, 90 different heroes with diversity, it's, you know,
Oh, yeah.
the meta is exciting, but there's a few things where you're like, the thing that's great about Dota is like, it feels like everything is OP, but there's some things which transcend being OP, and yeah, the Storm Nulls is one.
I'm with you there. Smoke up now, and a bunch of heroes going to start heading over
There you
to
go.
mid. Who can they find, though?
Yeah.
Cuckoo, Zephyr. That's a decent place to start. They spot him on the other
Smoke.
side of the river and pull him in. Dodges again. Carl, do they go for any more? It doesn't look like it yet. Mavis actually going on in with the jetpack, trying to find somebody.
Yeah, very far forward on the Clockwork, but I think he's trying to play around and bait using his buyback. He knows they can, you know, they could kill this Clockwork theoretically. I guess Storm's out of mana now. He's zipped off to top lane to clear out some waves, but I think this is the point of the game where you're going to have to throw some bodies, like if you're Polaris, to force a fight. Clockwork is a great buyback hero a lot of the time, so having him in the front lines to try and bait, not a bad idea. He's also their insta-stun. I think that's something that, you know, the Mars, you can't rely on Mars to blink spear somebody in the to start a fight against BKB heroes, whereas the Clockwork hookshot could give you a way to start a fight.
Right. And there also is now this like double rounds of refresher Ember, refresher Mars. Like this has, you know, while not that instant disable that you're talking about, at least a good amount of control, particularly once BKBs run low. But it's a matter of will Polaris have the damage that they need in the duration of that. MKB again done with the Mjolnir on the Nature's Prophet. He's going to start hitting very hard.
He's very much, yeah, can probably drops his treads maybe to get this Satanic a bit later on, but definitely similar to Clockwork, Nature's Prophet, amazing buyback hero. So, you know, I think Polaris is seeing how these fights are not going as well for them. They understand they're going to need potentially buybacks to win a key fight that could be coming very soon. 20 seconds until potential Roche respawn. Both these teams going to be eyeing that one off.
And T1 just comfortable for the moment, not even going over to contest that vision, to contest the outpost. They're just staying over here over in the triangle and, you know, content to wait for the timing to push again in a little bit here. Yeah,
they're literally drawing circles around Polaris, exactly where they're positioned on the map. So they're reading the map well. They know it's not safe for them right now. Probably that will change around it now because Roche respawn is possible. So I don't think they want to give up this Roche for free. But they're going to need to make some kind of a smoke play, or they can't just walk into enemy vision. That's where the fight's going to look poor for them. So yeah, there we go. 4-man smoke. They want to come. This isn't necessary. I mean, obviously they'd love to find initiation, get a pick off, win a fight, but this is also just a vision smoke.
They just got 25 on Storm. Has the overload bounces. And
big one.
Lelouch jumped right at the start. They
BKB
find the
off.
bud, the BKB, good reaction. But they found the backline. Xavius caught in some trouble, tries to get away, but it's not going to happen. Buys back afterwards, wants to get into this fight. Mavis, control on Zephyr. The jump through, and they find the kill onto Whitemon. Now back into the fight for the round 2 of this one. Can they kill him on the low ground? Lifestealer's in no man's land. Everybody's getting caught right now by the demonic purge, and Carl goes in for another catch. Will it be enough damage? Natsumi live-in, disarm, tries to get out of there, but the bash comes out. They take him down. Has buyback, or are they going to commit it now? They don't have enough.
Oh, the infest and the heal from Gabby helping out there. They're chasing, looking for more. Ember just didn't have it. He had like 4 or 5 remnant bomb. He actually TP'd back to base just to get some mana up, and he just couldn't find a target to go on. Just outlasting these long fights. You outlast the Nature's Prophet BKB. You have the bashes from Gabby to deal with the BKB, and then eventually, you know, the fight is going to swing your way. Like that, Lifesteal is just the king of these long drawn out fights.
Right, and I mean, it would be a different situation if they could like kill somebody other than the supports, but I mean, they're just not. They're not able to take down the Storm. They're not able to control him. DK's not dying. I don't know. It's feeling like an impossibility at this point almost.
It's just, it feels like Shadow Demon needs that like +1 defensive item to keep himself alive. Even like a Shadow Amulet, just like chill. Like Storm doesn't want to buy dust. He wants a Null Talisman. He doesn't want to replace a Null with some dust. So just pop a Shadow Amulet or something. Or he's got Blink queued up. I don't know. It's hard because he still has, once he uses his spell, Storm will always change target and go on this Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
But We'll see
Very
if
quick to find
Polaris
him.
can do anything about this Roshan. It looks like T1 are just going to be getting this one for free. Mavis is smoked up. Is he going for a steal on the Clockwork with the ninja gear? He's thinking about a snipe.
This could be big. I mean, again, if you can take this, get in there, steal the Aegis, or just even the Aghanim.
They're trying to block
Either
it.
one would be clutch. Has another
Cuckoo's trying to
opening
block
for
it.
it. Ooh, no, they won't get it.
Couldn't find the angle. Oh, and now he's been
And now
caught
they
out.
got him. Mavis in trouble and going to die. And this is Aegis, Cheese, and an Aghanim's passed over to Cuckoo. So now he's catching up in farm too. And they're facing the Tricorn. This is looking so bad for Polaris.
Oh, yeah. I just don't know how they kill some of these heroes at some point. Cuckoo gets a tip there. I think again, it just seems like T1 are like completely focused this game. Like the way they were like circling the minimap exactly where Polaris were playing, even though it was fog. There you saw Cuckoo. He was just like patrolling back and forth, almost expecting Clockwork to make that hook shot. And he's just like, because the Rocket Flare scouts out the Roshan pit. They know they can't win a fight there, but what Clockwork can do is go for that hookshot steal. So he's just trying to make sure that that play isn't even possible.
Right.
Just perfect play coming from T1 here in the late game.
And again, it's like, you know, such unbelievably like measured aggression and patience, waiting for that perfect timing. And each time when it's felt like Polaris is really going to pull away, there's been a point where T1 put their foot down and they don't go any further. Draw a line in the sand and then they can't get past it. Gabby now pressuring this tier 2 tower in the mid lane. They've got one more remaining on the map, but honestly, with this Aegis, they could even think about going high ground if they wanted, or they could just chill.
Yeah. Knowing the T1 we've seen, they're a team that don't like to rush things. I think it almost feels like it's similar to like for them, the concept of pushing high ground with an advantage is just non-existent. It's always like, let's just take that next advantageous fight around our vision. Enemy high ground is the place you'll never get vision, unless you want to buy a heart. So I think for them, it's all about the map control. Like last game, it got to like a 50k gold lead. It could, you know, they've been behind on gold until like, what, a couple minutes ago maybe? 5 minutes ago was when they got a lead. And, you know, a 5k gold lead could quickly turn into a 10, 15, 20k gold lead with the way T1 try and close out games in this very, like, polished, safe fashion.
I want to believe that when Whitemon was, you know, in the Roche pit right there, he's waiting for the, you know, Roche to respawn as the Aegis is still on his hero. It's like, you know, we're just going to hang out here until it comes back up again.
Yeah. I would just like to say I'm happy to see that Storm no longer has a tier 1 neutral item. He was still holding on to that like 5 minutes ago. He's finally decided to upgrade from the Fairies trinket. He's like, I guess a tier 4 neutral item is worth it.
Look at this. This is the thing that's the craziest, right? Polaris set up with 2 heroes top. They're like prepped and ready. They know exactly where Carl is going to go, and they still can't catch him there because he just zips in, zips out. The wave is dead. It's over. Devastating.
Oh. So much gold in that Sumi, by the way. He's top of the net worth, but it's like gold where it's like, what can you buy? Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, they got him. I mean, Lelouch gets away, but Mavis is going to die. It's too easy for it to happen.
Yeah. And that seems like their approach to late game Dota on T1. It's like, let's find these pickoffs. Like, the enemy's going to get desperate because they're losing. They're going to feel forced to make plays. And when they make these plays, that just sets us up to punish.
Storm, in the meantime, eyeing up that arcane blink, but the eyes now are up to high ground, and so it looks like they do want to make a little bit of a play here. So the Pugna ward down, Gabby sitting pretty, has the Satanic still at hand, along with a minute left on this Aegis, but as the glyph comes out, they will back up. They need to defend the other top side of the map. Yeah. Not looking to force this because of maybe the split push or just, you know, what's at stake here. This is a slot of the major. They want to play it safe. Natsumi does show himself bottom. He's getting pinged, so he's going to, you know, do this annoying Nature's Prophet. Rat Dota is always what comes to mind, and that's kind of a bit of what's going on here for Polaris, just because partly they're not able to take a fight, but also they want to just stall out this Aegis and give themselves the best chance at winning a fight and take it when this Aegis has expired. This is truly going to become the pinnacle of Dota right here. Nature's Prophet spamming out Treants versus Storm Spirit spamming out waves with his ball lightning. I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. That's the thing. This split push is not going to like succeed the way they would like it to because of the Storm. Oh, they've scouted out Force top. I think they know he's up here. The Courier, I believe, saw him.
Who's
bite off a little bit more than they could chew. Yeah, they take down White
Yeah.
on there. Nice catch. Oh, and the courier kill. But zip in, Carl doesn't go.
Thought about it. He used a lot of mana to get in, so I think at some point you'd like maybe not worth it. Not when you're alone.
Meanwhile, back towards mid. Gabby gonna push it out again. They do have a creep wave there, which is a little bit dangerous coming their direction. But I think T1 are again just gonna be chilling. They're probably gonna wait for the next Roche. 48 minutes in. Is this gonna be the game that we get 60-minute items?
I don't want to jinx it.
Okay.
You know, whatever happens, happens and is meant to be.
All right, I like it. I'm pretty
But,
down.
yeah. Oh, I'm so down too. But you know, it could be the game decider. Both teams are going to play it a little bit safe, but at the same time, Polaris probably maybe feeling like they can't just play it too ultra safe. This Nature's Prophet, the net worth is just like insane, but you know, he's 6-slotted. Like, what else can he get item wise? You know, he can buy an Ag's Blessing if he wants. It's probably not worth it. It's not the greatest Ags. It's not even. He's considering a Daedalus upgrade, so we'll see where they go.
Yeah, maybe gain rid of the Orchid or something like that. It feels like it kind of loses value in the later stages.
Agreed.
But at least for now, they're still content just constantly killing off these creep waves, spamming them out. The bigger thing to me feels like what you were talking about earlier, those defensive items. So like Shadow Demon eyeing up like both an Aeon Disc and a BKB. That could definitely start to change the dynamic a little bit. They're trying to find a fight up top. Cuckoo infested inside his Lifestealer.
Zephyr's baiting. He's got a Heart of Tarask on Pugna. You talk about defensive items. Pugna's like, I'm getting hard. And a BKB. He's charging forward.
Blink.
BKB TP out. It's going to be close.
Oh, no.
Oh, he got hit by the bash.
happen.
Or the
Unreal.
Abyssal, sorry. But yeah, they got him.
Got him.
Man, the fact your Pugna's game, usually Pugna's like, let's sit back and keep my cores alive with life drain. Now his game plan's let's run in first. This Pugna's 6-slotted at this point. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, this is it's a little bit wild. But I did not even see the build up to the heart. But I guess Zephyr was sitting on a lot of gold, and
Yeah.
I mean Ember has a Hex. Yeah, how are they going to kill Zephyr in these fights? What the hell?
Oh, they got the damage to kill this DK here. The refresh
the
Hex.
Scotty. Everything. Drop all the remnants in the wall, but Cuckoo able to live through it afterwards. Pops the cheese. It doesn't heal him up all the
Carl's
way.
out of mana.
Carl,
But
out of mana. Natsumi
But
now
Gabby's
turned
here.
upon. Broke in. Savius. He's caught him there to the side, but now he pushes him inside the Sprout. Now the Cogs catching onto both of them. Do they have enough? No, Carl just turns, blows them up. They didn't stand a chance.
Yeah. Once Lifesteal gets on top of Nature's Prophet, it's just really bad for Polaris because the bashers are there. You can't hold your ground. You know, a Sprout leash is just not going to do anything because you're sprouting the Lifesteal in with you. So it's just so tricky for this Nature's Prophet. And, you know, you get capped on items. Like, you'd love a 4-staff there or a Hurricane Pike, but how do you fit that in your item build? It just doesn't work if you want to do damage in the late game. So great. Again, this is where Gabby shines. Like, you know, they've set him up to carry this game in the late game, and so far what we've seen from Gabby is he's approaching these fights in a perfect way. He's winning T1 most of these late game fights.
Absolutely. We did just see Carl zip across the whole freaking map with this Arcane Blink done now.
Nice.
So that is some more shenanigans coming out here. But yeah, even with Cuckoo dead for 60 seconds and having no buyback, T1 trying to push out on the map a little bit here and make a play. I mean, I guess they just feel so unstoppable, even without Cuckoo.
So tough. They've got this Demonic Purge. Lifesteal doesn't even care. He's like, I'm not even trying to move. I'll just happily sit here. 5,000 health. Storm trying to go. At this point, Storm with a regen. I think it's a bit hard to kill Xavius. 3,000 health on the Shadow Demon with this BKB, but you just gotta force that BKB, disengage, then come back when his BKB is on cooldown. But T1 happy to just walk away. Lane of Racks. They can wait out Roshan now. Both teams will be alive for this Roche respawn, though, so Polaris may not give it up without a fight.
Max amounts of buybacks. So for you, what's like the key to this fight if you're T1? I mean, maybe we need to look at it from Polaris' point of view, because I feel like T1, they can do so much to win one. But what did Polaris need to win a fight?
I think to me, it's ignoring the Lifestealer and finding a way to, like, chain stun and bring down, really, the Storm is the one. Like, it's kind of hard because I think Carl getting caught is also going to come down to, like, some misplay on his side. But realistically, any fight is going to involve, like, 5 heroes buying back. So I think it's about keeping your Shadow Demon alive, basically, if you're going to buy back, make sure you're getting those trades. But yeah, the Storm's the key hero. This hero just does so much damage in any fight.
They move out and smoked up. There is a ward over behind the Radiant. Cuckoo finds the clockwork right at the start. They pop down the ulti right away, and Mavis going to die here. Now Gabby jumps in, tries to find Xavius, not going to be able to get him. That's one round of the ulti, but then the Infest away, and they're fine. The backlines, though, ooh, actually killing him off. Has to remnant away very quickly as the BKB came out. And now looking for the chase down. Oh, Carl, he can chase a little bit more, and the BKB out after the pistol, though. They find him. And with that, Lelouch in so much trouble, gets killed off.
That should be Roshan. He can buy back. It always feels like you'd rather maybe just give up Roshan and save your buyback for a high ground defense. So we'll see what the call is going to be. But yeah, I think you go back to the keys to this fight. I think they really just have to kite the hell out of Lifestealer, ignore him because they just can't kill him, and deal with everyone else. But it's so much easier said than done, because to kite him, you have to throw spells at him, like a Disruption, a Demonic Purge, spear him away. So you're exposing yourself to getting caught out when you do that.
Carl shows the game. Natsumi's trying to do a little bit of rat play here, but it's not quite enough. Roche is about half HP, but yeah, they keep this pressure on, and they actually are going to start to take this tier 3 tower up on the top side. Meanwhile, Natsumi thinking about just TPing into the middle of all of them. Are they going to try and fight this Mavis off to the side?
Roche. But Clock reveals himself with that rocket flare. They know where Clockwork is.
They have a ward down, though. He can kite Cuckoo for now. They know he's over here. They're doing a really good job of waiting this out. Again, 30 seconds until Ember. You don't want to give this up if you can avoid it, but they initiate onto Zephyr right away to start. I don't know if that was the buyback. How Carl jumps to the other side. Very strange.
I don't think you should be going for that Roche steal when you don't buy back. I think it's totally fine when you have buyback, but I'm like watching, I'm like, is he really going to go for this? Because chance of success, for one thing, is like 10% at best. And you know, what now you're defending high ground 4v5. Like, yeah, it's your 5-position Clockwork, and if he steals an Aegis or something, it's pretty big, but you know, he's going to steal it and then just die twice. So you put yourself in this position where T1 have a ton of control over the game because you're playing without, you know, Clockwork. It's a small thing, but his, you know, BKB piercing hook shot, there's a lot of things you need him for in a team fight.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to try their best again to slow down this pressure. All of the lanes are pushed out right now. I think Natsumi was thinking about cutting the other one. There are catapults mid, but they find him. Xavius in trouble. Coral, though, he just zips away again. He knows his limits perfectly. Gets away from there, but the jump in.
He's coming back in.
Can they take him down? Do they have enough for the Gabby Lifestealer? They don't. The heals are coming from Zephyr. They're never going to stop. You can root him. You can try and control him, but you don't have the damage. Natsumi does have buyback. We're so low, but it just doesn't matter. This Heart Pugna is so insane.
And Carl's full mana again. That is a fight where it's like, you got to watch, like, Carl pushes his hero to the limit. He zips in, he gets away in a sliver of health. He drops his items to use a cheese, re-engages, pops, like, vortexes multiple heroes, refreshes with Arcane Blink. Like, he just pushed every single button imaginable in the Storm and dished out a ton of damage. Meanwhile, Gabby, you know, lifesteal things, you just auto-attack, hit some buildings, you chill, you win your team the fight. But yeah, that was just a very well-executed team fight from T1. It just gets so hard for Polaris to execute. And again, they lost that Clockwork. I think Xavius gets a bit caught out of position. He pops his BKB, but you're fighting a lifesteal. He's still bashing you. He's, you know, it just doesn't feel like they're getting value out of this Ags plus Shard Shadow Demon here in the late game because of how well T1 are kind of positioning and using the Storm.
Yeah, I mean, the Storm is just, it's another level of insanity. And like you said, you know, the combo of being able to, one, have cheese left over afterwards, drop all your items, and then on top of that, you've got this Pugna that's just, I mean, unlimited. It's literally unlimited heal, mana, everything.
Yeah, you combine it with the Arcane Blink, which he's using in these fights too. It just, so much damage and mobility. He's probably hitting like, we may be seeing Storm like near 100k damage or something. Maybe that's a bit too high, but it feels like he's doing a lot of damage in this game as a whole.
I want to see how much healing this Pugna does. That's the other one.
Yeah.
No goodness.
Polaris aren't out of this yet. It's very desperate times, but it's not completely hopeless.
Disruption. Goes in,
in
Force.
from
They're
behind.
looking for the opening. Tries to find the back line. They can't catch Whitemon.
They got the
Not
Pugna.
quite there. They do find the Pugna, though. Do they have enough damage to bring him down? The Hex, they're out. All the damage in the world. Mavis tries to keep Cuckoo out of the fight. He is going to pop. They finally bring down the little green man, but the blue monster shows back up. Carl down relatively
Got a
low.
Rapier. They're gonna
Mavis
lose
there
Rapier.
on top of him. Is it going to be enough?
Save.
Do they have it? Turn, jump, tries to bring him down. Natsumi so low, and it isn't enough in the end as Rapier on the deck. But they're going to focus down buildings. Don't even need the Rapier. Dead for 2 minutes as T1 take full advantage of this disgusting draft that they've pulled together and are going to take the last set of racks.
Yep. I don't know if there's anything left to defend here. Cuckoo picks up the Rapier. They're going for the throne. They're going for the tier 4 towers, and Storm, he's in the fountain. Couple more
again,
kills
why
on their
not?
way out.
Mavis, he just can't stop it. Jumps in, GG, Gratz is called. T1 going to be the last representative from Southeast Asia.
Yep. T1, a team who had a slow start. They actually lost. They got 2-0'd by this Polaris team. I think it